My beloved child, do not rush past this moment. I am placing something in your hands that you thought was lost. Feel the weight of it, like an envelope sealed with wax and heat, printed with your name in my own hand. You remember when you wrote to me with tears, when you folded up a hope you could not carry and set it down in the drawer of your heart. You told yourself, be practical, be grown. You taught yourself not to look there, but I never stopped looking. I have held the letter you thought heaven forgot, and now I bring it to you again in this very hour. Open your heart as you would open a long-delayed message. Do not be afraid of the ache that rises as you touch it. That ache is not your enemy. It is the chamber of your spirit where my voice first visited you. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. The dust on your memories is not an accusation. It is the sign that what I told you then has survived storms you could not name. You did not mishear me. You did not invent it. The promise you buried did not die. It was hidden, not abandoned, preserved inside the silence, wrapped in my timing like a seed wrapped in winter. You tried to move on. You became an expert in pretending to be fine. You called it wisdom to stop expecting. You labeled it maturity to stop praying bold. But even when you laughed, there was a room in your heart you left unopened. No windows, no visitors. A careful lock on the door, your footsteps soft when you passed it, because even the sound of the handle turning felt like too much. I saw you there. I know how your chest tightened when others spoke of breakthroughs and calendars and next seasons. I have counted the times you whispered, maybe that was for someone else. Maybe I heard wrong. Maybe it was youth or naivete or zeal. Hear me. Delay is not the evidence of abandonment. It is the space in which I reshape your wings before you fly. Take this letter, beloved. Feel the old seal warm under your fingers. Even now, as you listen, I am breathing on wax that once would not break. Listen to me, for I speak as the one who made time and is not ruled by it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it tarry, wait for it. It will surely come. It will not lie. Habakkuk 2:3. My words do not grow old. My promises do not sour in the jar. The appointed time is not a myth you must pretend to believe in. It is a clock I set before your first breath, and it has been moving toward this moment while you slept, while you worked, while you thought I was silent. This is not nostalgia. I am not calling you back to the embarrassment of old dreams, to mock you or to stir your pain for no reason. No, my child, I am calling you to open what you thought was finished, because the appointed time is speaking again. The pulse you feel is not torment. It is the heartbeat of what I wrapped for you long ago, preserved in a hidden place until your capacity caught up with your calling. It was not only your circumstances that needed to change. It was the framework inside you, the muscles of your faith, the chambers of your character, the width of your wisdom. If I had placed the full weight of fulfillment on you then, it would have cracked the floorboards beneath your feet. So I held it. I held you. And I watched over both, like a gardener who buries treasure under a tree, not to lose it, but to guard it beneath roots that are still strengthening. Do not be ashamed that you looked away. I do not condemn your survival strategies. When the wind howled and the disappointment stacked like stones, you protected the tender places by burying the letter. I saw it happen, and I allowed the holy hiding. What you named giving up was, in part, a mercy stretched like a canopy over a seed that could not stand the scorching heat of exposure. My kindness has been your shelter. My steadiness has been your unseen roof. Now I speak to the inner hesitation that still holds your hand mid-air. What if I open it and find nothing? What if I open it and I break again? Hear me, your breaking then was not the end of you. It was the beginning of a deeper vessel, and this time you are not the same. The room within you has expanded quietly with every midnight prayer you thought I ignored, with every act of integrity when no one was watching, with every day you loved and served and kept moving. The appointed time is not merely a date on the calendar. It is a maturity of the soul, a convergence of heaven's decree, and the readiness I have formed within you. So open it, with your spirit tear the seal. Even now say under your breath, I receive what you preserved. Let your fingers, right where you are, become a sign of your agreement. Put your hand on your heart, breathe, and choose not to rush past this moment. I am here, I am near. I am not only reminding you, I am recommissioning you. I am not luring you back to an old fantasy. I am restoring you to a living word that cannot lie. You are walking through an invisible battlefield, yes, but you are not unarmed. Your memory of what I said is not a taunt, it is a map. The letter you hold is not blank, it contains coordinates, a path that seemed irrelevant in the last season, because the terrain was closed, the gates were barred, the weather unkind. I whisper to you now, those gates are turning, those clouds are thinning. The very schedule you thought was your enemy is bowing to me. Let your courage rise like dawn. This is the hour to read again, to believe again, not with reckless frenzy but with a sober, peaceful boldness. What you called dead is waking. What you called lost is found. What you called I missed it is in my book, right on time. If tears fall as you open it, let them fall. They are washing the dust off the lines I wrote long ago. If your chest trembles, let it tremble. It is the tremor of resurrection within you. Now, listen closely. Do not throw this letter back into the drawer. Do not apologize for hoping. Do not label this stirring as weakness. I am the one stirring you. I am the one who preserved the envelope when you lost the will to guard it. I brought it to you now, because now is when it will not crush you. Now is when it will carry you. Now is when you will not only receive, but also become the person who can steward the fulfillment with clean hands and a steady heart. Open this, my beloved child. The appointed time is speaking, and it calls your name. My beloved child, now let us speak plainly about the burial. Do not flinch from this word, for I hold it with you gently. You did not lay that promise in the ground because you were frivolous or fickle. You laid it down after a long campaign of hope that met closed doors, after late nights where prayers felt like paper tossed into a wind that did not answer, after betrayals that took your breath away and made your ribs ache when you heard certain names. You buried it when the bills kept arriving like waves, when your body and mind carried a heaviness that sleep could not fix, when you stared at ceilings and calendars and told yourself, just be realistic. You lived for a while in the weary gray zone, too faithful to curse me, too tired to expect me, and you called that grayness wisdom because it protected you from the sting of another no. I saw the way you swallowed your hope in silence so others would not see your trembling. I saw the messages you did not send, the applications you never finished, the invitations you declined because the room would have reminded you of a door you could not enter. I saw it all, and I did not turn away. Hear me, I do not shame you for surviving. I do not count your coping as betrayal. You learned to call protection giving up because you thought only movement could prove faith. But there are seasons when stillness is the only obedience that will keep you from breaking in half. There are hours when it is holy to lie down. The Lord will fight for you, you need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. In those months and years when your chest burned and your account groaned and your inbox became a museum of polite rejections, I did not require you to put on a brave show for the crowd. I cupped your small, endangered flame and covered it with my own hand. I am the one who made your mouth like a sharp sword and hid you in the shadow of my hand. I made you a polished arrow and concealed you in my quiver. Isaiah 49:2. What you named failure, I named shelter. What you called quitting, I called keeping. Still, I know the other voice that grew in the dark. It spoke with sentences that sounded like reason but were soaked in accusation. Maybe I misheard God. Maybe I am not worthy. Maybe I waited too long. Maybe I squandered my turn. Maybe there is something wrong with me that keeps good things away. Those lines tried to etch themselves onto your inner nameplate, to rename you wasted, late, untrustworthy, incompetent, foolish. Hear me with all the weight of my love. Those labels do not come from me. Your name, the identity you carry before me, is not a list of delays. You are not the sum of postponed answers. If the Son sets you free, you are free indeed. John 8:36. And I have never placed too late as a mark upon your forehead. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. You have been walking through an invisible battlefield. Not every delay was a neutral fog. Some were calculated resistances aimed at your name, because if that promise lives in you, it will not only bless you, it will unlock others, it will interrupt patterns, it will open gates in places where your family and city and generation have walked in circles. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers. Ephesians 6:12. There were papers filed against you in the realm of accusation, whispers that tried to persuade your own soul to be the jailer of your future. When your heart agreed to the sentence, even for a while, by saying, "It's over," the enemy celebrated, thinking the case was closed. But I was present in that courtroom. I did not leave. I did not let the gavel fall with your name condemned. I covered the record with my own blood, and I wrote, "Paid, preserved, appointed." Over the lines the accuser tried to underline. And so I allowed the burial. Do you understand? I did not abandon the promise by letting it go under. I hid it. I wrapped it in earth the way a gardener hides seed so the sky cannot devour it. I covered it like Moses was covered in the reeds, like David hid in caves, like Joseph was hidden in a prison before he was seated in a palace, like even my beloved Son lay within the heart of the earth before dawn broke over an empty tomb. The seed was not safe on the surface while the storms still raged. The scaffolding of your character, your capacity, your boundaries, your discernment had not yet set. If the full weight had come then, the floorboards would have splintered. So I buried it, not to suffocate it, but to surround it with the conditions that make roots reach deeper than they ever would in constant sun. Delay is not the evidence of abandonment. It is the space in which I reshape your wings before you fly. Yes, there were also wolves that prowled near your field. Opportunists with smiles, systems with traps, pressures that would have stolen what I gave you right out of your hands had I placed it there then. There were alliances you did not yet know how to refuse, contracts you would have signed from hunger, not wisdom, appetites you could not yet master, velocities you would have called breakthrough, but which would have scattered your soul into too many pieces. I am not only the giver of good gifts, I am the guardian of timing. When Noah's waters rose, the ark was my yes, and the closed door was my protection, and the hatch did not open until the ground could hold a life again. So also with you. I would not place a promise onto sinking mud. I would not build a house without laying the foundation. I am meticulous in every stage. What you called my silence was the sound of me testing the beams. I have watched you in the weary gray zone when you operated from muscle memory and manners because your emotions had run out. You kept working. You kept showing up. Some days you only had a whisper left, and even that whisper you spent on thanking me for breath. I saw that. I counted those offerings as incense. I drew near to your broken heart, Psalm 34:18. I spread a table for you in the presence of what mocked you, Psalm 23:5. And in that place I nursed you back to quiet strength, not so you would forget the promise, but so you would survive to see it. Now, hear my verdict on the burial. It was a Sabbath for a seed. It was a cocoon that looked like a tomb. It was not the end of your story. It was an interim called necessary. Do not curse the ground that held your treasure. Do not call unclean what I used to protect you. Your memory of that lowering into earth will no longer sting like shame. It will gleam like wisdom. You will say, He hid me, He kept me, He chose the shadows until I could bear the light. Your name will not be the one who quit, but the one He kept. And the places in you that called yourself unworthy, late, disqualified, I erase the chalk lines. I write my word in their place. Breathe now, slowly. Forgive yourself for the ways you tried to survive. Release the narrative that paints you as the reason everything stalled. Come into agreement with me and say aloud, even softly, it was protection, not punishment. It was hiding, not forsaking. I am preserved, not passed over. Let your mouth participate in your healing, for the righteous shall live by faith. Habakkuk 2:4. And faith sounds like something. Let your fingers even now become a sign. Place your hand on your heart and declare, my promise was planted, not discarded. My name is not failure. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. For even now, beneath the surface, where you thought nothing lived, there is movement, there is pressure pushing upward, there is life. The burial was never the final chapter. It was the chapter that ensured there would be more. And as the storms calm and the soil warms, you will find that what you thought you lost has been gathering strength in the dark, awaiting the command of an appointed time that overrides your calendar and bows to none but me. My beloved child, now lift your eyes from the soil and listen to me speak about time. You have lived long beneath the tyranny of calendars and countdowns, of anniversaries that ache and reminders that sting, of fiscal quarters and biological clocks, and friends' timelines that seem to sprint while yours limped. You have watched seconds drip like cold water while your heart whispered, did I miss it? Did time leave me behind? Hear me. I am the maker of time, not its prisoner. I do not consult your fear to set my appointments. I do not draft destiny with a trembling hand. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it tarry, wait for it. It will surely come, it will not lie. Habakkuk 2:3. Let me teach you what I meant when I wrote that line into your story. The vision is yet for an appointed time. Appointed means fixed, set, placed with intention, circled on a calendar I authored before your first breath. It is not vague, not someday floating in a mist. It is specific like sunrise, precise like the second the seed splits beneath the ground. Appointed means there is a coordinate in time and space where what I spoke intersects where you stand. Appointed means I have watched over the file with your name, not to keep you out, but to keep intruders from stealing what is yours too soon. Appointed means I am not late, I am exact. Though it tarry, wait for it. Tarry is how it feels to you, not how it functions to me. Tarry is the ache of watchfulness when you are counting by days. I am counting by readiness. Tarry is the space where I widen you, the hallway between promise spoken and promise weight you can carry. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. I refuse to place a crown on a self-contempt that still bows to counterfeit names. I refuse to load a ship whose hull is not yet sealed. I love you too much to hand you something that would crush you unprepared. What you called delay, I have called alignment. I am laying the foundation before I build the house. When you thought I was still, I was working steel into your spine, wisdom into your yes, boundaries into your love. It will surely come. Surely means my name is on the line. Surely means the integrity of the one who cannot lie is attached to the arrival of what I promised. surely does not depend on your perfect performance. It rests on my perfect faithfulness. Surely is a word I sign, not a mood you maintain. Surely is why you can sleep without panic and prepare without frenzy, why you can wipe your eyes and pick up your tools again. You have confused "it has not yet come" with "it may never come." I break that agreement now. I am not a tease. I am not the tormentor who waves bread in front of the hungry and then laughs as I pull it away. I spread a table. I keep a table. I lead you to it when the appointed hour rings. It will not lie. Your fear has lied to you. Comparison has lied to you. Accusation has tried to edit the transcript to make you believe your vision was a child's invention or a brief emotional spike. But I tell you, the vision speaks. And when it speaks, it does not flatter and it does not deceive. The vision carries my sound. The more you draw near, the more its language becomes clear. It says, prepare, not panic. It says, align, not scramble. It says, wait like a watchman on the wall, not sit like a victim in a corner. I will stand my watch and set myself on the rampart. And he said, write the vision, make it plain. Habakkuk 2:1-2. This is how you wait. Eyes open, pen ready, life ordered to receive. You are caught between two clocks, and today I sever your allegiance to the false one. The human clock ticks with panic. Its hands are comparison and its alarm is shame. It tells you you're behind because your friend's door opened first. It scolds you when you rest and applauds you when you strive without wisdom. It has you refreshing pages and counting likes and tying your worth to metrics that evaporate. But my clock, the clock of heaven, moves by convergence, alignment, protection, preparation. It does not shout, it hums with peace. It does not push, it draws. It waits for the locking of inner and outer gates, for the roads to be cleared that you cannot see, for the winds to change that you cannot harness. My clock refuses to set you up to fail. My clock tracks not only the market and the weather, but the mending of your soul and the breaking of old words on your name. When my hour comes, favor and readiness meet, like two rivers joining, and you do not have to sprint to keep up. You step into the current and it carries you with authority. You have asked me, why did it feel personal when it took so long? Why did delay sting like rejection? Because the promise is married to who you are becoming. It is not a toy I can toss across a room. It is a mantle that rests on shoulders made strong by me. To release it before your identity agreed with my name for you would be to give a loaded instrument to a hand still shaking from accusation. Stewardship is not punishment. It is dignity. I am not grading you. I am growing you. The dream is not a reward. It is a responsibility that requires your yes to be anchored beyond applause. I will not let a blessing devour a son or daughter I love. So I knit strength into your ability to say no. I knit humility into your capacity to receive praise. I knit patience into your will so that quick money, quick platforms, quick applause do not trade away the inheritance with your name on it. Now hear the language of records and receipts, for I know you have wondered if your petitions vanished into air. I am not a careless accountant. I keep books, beautiful living books. I have kept every tear in my bottle, noted in my ledger, Psalm 56:8. I have archived every prayer, every anonymous kindness, every time you turned away from bitterness and chose blessing instead. Nothing is deleted. When you said, it must not matter, I stamped the file, matters greatly. When you thought the record closed, I opened it, reviewed it, and wrote, awaiting appointed time. There are seals on certain pages, time locks, that no accuser can break, no impatience can pry open. And when the hour I have set arrives, I unseal the archive. I hand it to angels assigned to your case, and they move, stirring systems, recalling names to mind, bringing forward applications lost under piles, breathing on proposals once ignored, dusting off what sat on the desks of men. Do not imagine I require human permission to move. I grant men the privilege to participate in what I have already decreed. So, let this ring in you louder than dread. The schedule of heaven is speaking now. Not tomorrow, not in theory, now. It is not screaming, but it is unmistakable, and it is drowning out the drum of fear. You will recognize its voice by the peace that settles even while you prepare, by the strength to order your life without manic haste, by the renewed honor for your own name that makes you unwilling to wear old labels another day. Delay is not the evidence of abandonment. It is the corridor of alignment. And you are reaching the door where corridor ends and room begins. I invite you to agree. Place your hand upon your heart and whisper, I yield to your appointed time. I refuse the panic clock. I receive the precision of heaven. Let your voice not be a decoration but an activation, for the righteous shall live by faith. Habakkuk 2:4. And as you say it, know this. I have prepared a portion of blessing bearing your name for a very long time, and my integrity binds me to its arrival. I am not negotiating the truthfulness of my word with your fear. I am announcing to your fear that its lease has ended. The vision has a date. The date has a voice, and its voice, my child, is calling you forward. My beloved child, now let me lift the veil on what looked like quiet years, but were in truth the forge of your becoming. You feared I was withholding, I was widening. You thought I had you waiting in a hallway with nothing happening. I was expanding the room inside you so that what I send will not flood and ruin, but settle and flourish. I did not ask you to hover in paralysis. I enrolled you in formation. Delay is not the evidence of abandonment. It is the space in which I reshape your wings before you fly. I have built endurance within you, the kind that does not glamorize pain but knows how to keep breathing through an adverse wind. Endurance that picked up your tools again after a no. Endurance that returned to prayer when your emotions were low. Endurance that learned the difference between stubborn pride and holy persistence. Suffering produces endurance, endurance character, and character hope. Romans 5:3-4. Do you see it? Hope is no longer a fragile bubble that pops when touched. It has muscle now. This is not punishment accomplished. It is preparation completed. I have sharpened your discernment. In the beginning, you reached for every shiny door because hunger can make counterfeits look like bread. But as you waited with me, you began to taste the difference between bait and blessing. You learned to ask questions beneath the surface. Who profits from my yes? What is the true cost of this platform? Is this alignment or flattery? You did not know it, but every time you sensed, not this, and stepped back, I was training your eyes for the day of many offers. The simple believe every word, but the prudent consider well their steps. Proverbs 14:15. Prudence has now become a friend to your spirit. I have raised boundaries around your heart, like good fences around a field that is finally bearing fruit. You have learned to say no without apology. No to manipulation that cloaks itself as loyalty. No to speed that imitates urgency but erodes your soul. No to partnerships that would trade away your name for a night of applause. I taught you that love has lines and self-control is a wall that preserves peace. You thought saying no would make you small. It has made you strong. Your yes is cleaner now because it is not coerced. I have practiced humility in you without humiliation. I never desired to shame you. I desired to free you from the tyranny of image, so that when honor comes, and it will, you will carry it like a garment, not a skin. You learn to serve without keeping score, to celebrate others without resenting their moment, to receive correction without collapsing into self-hate. Humility has prepared you to rise without falling from a height your character cannot sustain. Humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time. 1 Peter 5:6. Exaltation without due time is a fall. Due time has been my classroom. I have trained discipline within you, not as a cage, but as a key. You took simple steps, consistent mornings in my word, stewarding your sleep, moving your body when lethargy preached to you, ordering your space so distraction lost its grip. You thought these small obediences were incidental, they were scaffolding. You learned budgeting, not as deprivation, but as dominion. You created envelopes and tracked spending. You canceled subscriptions that siphoned without serving, you said, not yet, to purchases that flattered impulse but robbed your future. You paid debts one by one. You asked for counsel. You told the truth about numbers you once avoided. I watched angels stand at the edge of your table as you spread those papers out. What looked like math was worship. I have taught you emotional regulation, a phrase you did not expect me to care about, but I do. When panic rose, you learned to breathe and bless instead of spiral and curse. When anger pounded, you learned to step away, to speak when your voice returned, to let the sun set without letting rage become your counselor. Ephesians 4:26. You have become gentler with yourself, and therefore you are safer to others. Your reactivity has diminished. Your response has matured. This, too, is me. I have reordered your relationships. You released alliances that required you to betray your own soul. You forgave debts of apologies you would never receive, not to pretend wrong didn't happen, but to set your own feet free from the snare. You began to delight in healthy friendships that challenged you upward, mentors who shortened your learning curve, and community that spoke to your promise rather than your past. These are not random upgrades. They are part of the landing strip for what approaches. I have summoned a better work ethic in you, not as a frantic hustle, but as a steady excellence. You stopped binging on inspiration and started building by routine. You showed up early. You finished what you started. You repented quickly when you failed. You asked for better tools and learned them. Excellence is not performance for approval. It is gratitude in motion. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord. Colossians 3:23. This is how you prepared a house for blessing to dwell. I have made you spiritually consistent. Your prayers are less like emergency flares and more like morning and evening lamps. You have become the kind of person who turns to me first, not last, who confesses quickly, forgives repeatedly, blesses deliberately. You have built an altar by repetition, line upon line, here a little, there a little. Isaiah 28:10. That altar is now a place of landing for my promise. And hear me about the counterfeit doors. There were opportunities that wore the costume of breakthrough, but were contracts with theft inside. I closed interviews you would have aced, but which required you to bend your integrity. I let a romance dissolve that would have drained the very courage you need for the next chapter. I blocked an investor whose money came with a leash to pull you into corridors you were never meant to walk. You called those rejections cruelty. I call them rescue. I am not the God of fast traps. I am the God of appointed times. The blessing of the Lord makes rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. Proverbs 10:22. I will not add sorrow to your portion. Now look at your hands. They are cleaner than when you began, not perfect in the way fear demands, but clean in the way grace produces. Honest hands, hands that do not clutch with panic, hands that release what I did not assign, hands that will not sign away their authority for convenience. Who may ascend the hill of the Lord? He who has clean hands and a pure heart. Psalm 24:3-4. I have been teaching you to ascend so that when you stand in rooms you prayed for, you will not be seduced by bargains that cost your soul. This is why the delay could not be rushed. I was not withholding the promise. I was enlarging the vessel so the promise would not ruin you when it arrives. Consider it. The question is no longer, why not me, but who have I become while it waited? Answer it with joy. You have become measured, strengthened, clarified. You have become the trusted steward of what once would have mastered you. You have become a son, a daughter, who can carry weight without it collapsing your inner life. I tell you this not to flatter you, but to wake you to readiness. Breathe this now and let your own mouth partner with what I have done. Thank you for forming me. Thank you for enlarging me. I say no to counterfeits. I receive clean hands and a steady heart. Let your fingers write it down. Let your voice declare it, for the righteous shall live by faith. Habakkuk 2:4. The appointed time is speaking, and now you understand why. The room within you has caught up with the size of what I am sending. Walk forward, not with frenzy, but with ordered peace. The vessel is ready. The promise is safe with you. My beloved child, now let me speak to the battlefield you could not always name, the quiet war around your name. You felt pressure in your circumstances, but the sharper conflict aimed at your identity. Your name, how you see yourself when no one is watching, has been targeted by sentences that sound like reason but carry poison. Too late, unreliable, always broke, never chosen, unsafe with money. Too emotional, not leadership material, the one who ruins good things. Those lines tried to etch themselves onto your inner seal, for the enemy knows this. Your name, the identity you carry in your own mouth and heart, either opens the way for miracles or unconsciously locks shut the very door I am sending you to walk through. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. Shame has dressed itself like a judge and taken a false bench in your soul. It wears a robe called realism. It wields a gavel called statistics, and it reads a verdict that sounds official. Given their past, limitation is appropriate. It quotes your hardest days as if they were your legal name. It files your grief as evidence and mislabels your survival as incompetence. But hear my verdict, those labels do not come from me. I did not write "too late" above your head. I have never stamped "always broke" across your file. If the Son sets you free, you are free indeed. John 8:36. I am not only your Father, I am your advocate. We have an advocate with the Father, Jesus Christ the righteous. 1 John 2:1. There has been a courtroom you could not see, where accusations lined up like paperwork, where an unseen clerk stamped dates on claims not brought by love. False affidavits were filed. They will default again. They cannot be trusted with influence. They will panic and waste what is given. Records were misfiled so that when grace searched for your history, it found only the chapters written by despair. Dust gathered on testimonies of your endurance. Footnotes of your repentance were torn from the pages. Your victories were buried in the back of the cabinet. But I, says the Lord, walked into that room. I ordered the files to be brought to my bench. I took the record of debt that stood against you with its legal demands, and I canceled it, nailing it to the cross. Colossians 2:14. I stamped across your case, paid, cleared, preserved, appointed. I restored exhibits your enemy tried to suppress. The nights you chose forgiveness. The mornings you rose again. The days you stewarded small things with integrity. I expunged the slanders. I resealed the truth. Understand the strategy at work. If your adversary cannot destroy the seed of promise, he will delay it by discouragement, by distraction, by getting you to disqualify yourself. He will try to make you your own gatekeeper against yourself. He wants your mouth to agree with the lie, your posture to withdraw from opportunity, your hands to refuse the very tools you asked me for. He whispers, "Don't apply. You are not that kind of person. Don't show up. They will see through you. Don't expect favor. Your name only attracts trouble." When you accept those whispers, doors may remain physically open, but your heart locks them from the inside. You call it wisdom to keep yourself small, but it is a sentence passed by shame, not a command from me. I did not author smallness for you. I authored stature. You are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood. 1 Peter 2:9. Hear me. Your name has always been a gate. When you carry it aligned with what I speak, systems recognize it. Favor searches for it. Rooms make space for it. When you carry it buried under accusation, even open rooms feel like hostile ground. This is why I have hovered over identity before acceleration. The promise coming is married to who you are becoming. The mantle recognizes the shoulders it is meant to rest upon. Opportunity is not merely an event. It is an environment that scans the seal on your heart. I am restoring that seal. Let me speak renaming over you, not as flattery, but as correction of the record. Where you wore unreliable, I call you steady. Where always broke tried to stick, I name you steward. Where never chosen has haunted you, I call you appointed. Where too late loomed like a clock, I declare you right on time. Where unsafe with money mocked you, I call you wise and learning, with clean hands and a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. You shall be called by a new name that the mouth of the Lord will give. Isaiah 62:2. I am issuing documents in the courts of heaven with that new name inscribed. I am placing a signet ring of restored authority on your hand. This is not theater, this is administration. Angels are retrieving files where your reputation was misrepresented. They are correcting data, recalling witnesses, resurfacing overlooked recommendations, bringing into the light emails that were lost under piles. My child, I am mending the bridge between how I see you and how you see you. Do not confuse this unveiling with condemnation. I show you the scheme so you stop bowing to it. I alert you to the locks so you can partner with me to turn the key. Your identity must align before your opportunity accelerates. Do not try to sprint with a name that limps. Do not attempt to hold what is holy with a hand that still agrees with "I am unworthy to hold anything." I have cleansed those hands. I have spoken another word over you. Agreement with me is not arrogance, it is obedience. The righteous shall live by faith. Habakkuk 2:4. Faith sounds like this. I break agreement with every label that does not come from God. I receive my true name. I am kept. I am entrusted. I am appointed. Let your mouth participate now. Whisper, then say it stronger, then let it settle. I renounce the verdicts of shame. I appeal to the higher court. I accept the name my Father gives. Let your fingers write down a declaration as a sign of alignment. My name is not failure. My name is faithful. Go ahead and mark this moment. Write it where you will see it. Share this word with someone who needs it as a way of placing your foot on new ground. This is not performance. This is placement. When you open your mouth and say, "I believe what you say about me," you are raising a new altar and closing an old case. I tell you plainly, no more living married to a lie about yourself. No more allowing ancient nicknames to serve as guards at the gates of your future. No more lending your voice to your enemy's argument. Now is the time. No more delay. I am restoring your name, rinsing it in grace, engraving it on a radiant decree, and sending it back into the world with honor. You will find that as identity lifts, opportunities that avoided you begin to remember you. Emails arrive, meetings open, recommendations surface, but more than that, peace returns. so that you stand in those rooms without shrinking, without self-harm disguised as humility. We will deal with deeper locks soon, the generational residue, the old covenants that tried to define your bloodline's ceiling. For now, receive this as your authorization. Resist accusation, reject false labels, rehearse your true name until it feels like home. I am near, closer than your own breath. I am speaking over you the name I wrote before time. And as you agree, watch the invisible battlefield around your name fall quiet beneath my verdict. My beloved child, now we will deal with the deeper locks I told you we would address. You have wondered why the same wall kept appearing in different rooms, why every time momentum gathered something small and sharp cut the rope, why good beginnings melted into familiar endings, a job promising growth that collapsed in politics, a relationship blooming and then vanishing at the threshold, a surge of income followed by sudden repairs and emergencies that vacuumed it away. You said, "Am I cursed?" Hear me. You are not cursed in destiny, but you have been brushing against residue, voices from generations past forming boundaries, old agreements still echoing in the halls of your family name, invisible locks attached to a bloodline trying to claim jurisdiction over what I have marked as yours. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. Some battles you fought were not only about you, they were about patterns older than you, cycles of debt where money arrives and evaporates, instability that visits like a season, moving houses, moving jobs, moving churches, never allowing roots to thicken, abandonment that recurs, lovers and leaders walking away at the same chapter, sabotage right before breakthrough, miscommunications, misplaced files, sudden illness on presentation week, fear of success hiding as self-sabotage, procrastination that spikes when opportunity knocks, I'll do it later, that uproots tomorrow's harvest, chronic delay despite effort, working twice as hard for half the fruit. You are not crazy for noticing patterns. The patterns were not your permanent name. They were signals of an old lock asking to be addressed. Understand the nature of residue. It is not destiny. It is sediment left by ancient floods, vows made in pain, oaths whispered in scarcity, conclusions signed under duress. We will never trust anyone with money again. In this house, we survive by scraping. Dreamers get hurt. Women in our family do not lead. Men in our family do not stay. These sentences became living agreements, and agreements attract enforcement. The enemy is legalistic. He cannot invent ownership where I have not ceded it, but he can point to agreements and say, they consented. He can rummage through your family's files and waive contracts authored by fear, stamped with dates, co-signed by pain. This is why I step into the courts of heaven language with you, not as theater, but as reality. There have been records, and I am the judge who cancels what accusation attempts to use as leverage. Christ redeemed us from the curse of the law by becoming a curse for us, Galatians 3:13, meaning those locks can be broken, the residue washed, the jurisdiction revoked. You have also lived under transferred labels, not only personal but inherited. Your people are always late. Your people never finish. Your people can cook but not count. Your people are spiritual but not strategic. These marks do not come from me. I created you and yours for wisdom and stature, for favor with God and man, Luke 2:52. I am not asking you to dishonor those who raised you. I am inviting you to honor them by ending what hurt them. Our fathers sinned, and we bear their iniquities. Lamentations 5:7 described a grief. The soul who sins shall die. Ezekiel 18:4 declares individual responsibility. The cross adds final word. Your bloodline story ends in redemption, not repetition. What you called generational curse, I call a broken covenant awaiting enforcement of freedom. Hear how covenants operate. Covenant is ownership language, boundary language, language that says, "This house belongs to this word." Some of your house's history made room for words that were not mine. There were alliances with bitterness, survival pacts with scarcity, superstitions accepted as wisdom, bargains with despair that traded long-term inheritance for short-term relief. These did not change. My plans for you, but they created traffic in your lanes, fog on your roads, and locks on your gates. I am not intimidated by these. I am precise with them. I bring the better covenant established on better promises, Hebrews 8:6, and I invite you to stand in that court and agree. What was signed by fear is now unsignable because the blood of Jesus speaks a better word. Hebrews 12:24. When you make that confession, you are not pretending. You are presenting truth as evidence. So, rise in your cycle breaker identity. I did not only come to rescue you, I came to rewrite the history of those connected to your name. I am rescuing an entire family line through a single yielded life. I am repairing breaches in ancient walls, so children you will never meet walk streets you could only dream of, Isaiah 61:4. The battle has been fierce because the outcome is generational. You are the first in your line to forgive this deeply, to budget this wisely, to study this diligently, to repent this quickly, to love this cleanly, to receive this honor without twisting it into pride. You are the interruption in the statistics. You are the no more in the mouth of grace. Practical means spiritual here. I will lead you to renounce words formerly celebrated as family wisdom that were, in truth, ceilings. "We are poor but honest" became a halo over deprivation. Let me teach you to say, "We are honest and well provisioned by God." Psalm 23:1. I will lead you to bless your father and mother not by repeating their pain, but by completing what they longed for. I will ask you to list the patterns, not to obsess, but to submit them to my verdict. Debt cycles, instability, abandonment, sabotage near breakthrough, fear of success, chronic delay. Write them, name them, then answer with faith. These are residues, not destinies. The locks break now. Let your fingers write it down as a sign of agreement. Go ahead and let your mouth say it. By the blood of Jesus, every old agreement claiming my name is canceled. My house belongs to the Lord. I am the cycle breaker. Let your faith be expressed. The righteous shall live by faith. Habakkuk 2:4. If you need to, like this word as a sign before me, share it to mark in public what I am doing in private. Let your tiny action be a seed of alignment. I am also addressing hidden loyalties you did not know you carried. Loyalties to struggle because you thought peace would make you disloyal to those who never knew it. Loyalties to lack because plenty looked like betrayal. I free you from false loyalties. You are allowed to flourish and still belong to your people. In fact, your flourishing will open doors for them. Joseph did not betray his brothers by rising. He preserved them by his rise. Genesis 50:20. So do not shrink when I place favor on your shoulders. Do not apologize when doors open. Steward them with clean hands and include those you can lift. This is how I rewrite a name's reputation in a region. Now, hear my decree. I approach the old locks attached to your bloodline with the keys of David. What I open, no man can shut, and what I shut, no man can open. Revelation 3:7. I cancel the effects of vows made in fear. I nullify sentences spoken in anger over children. I reverse mislabeling assigned by teachers, pastors, judges, bosses who cursed rather than blessed. I sever the administrative ties in the unseen where your file was stapled to limits not authored by me. I command angels assigned to your family to retrieve buried testimonies, to surface forgotten inheritances, to realign land and paperwork, to expose hidden fraud and restore what was siphoned. I instruct favor to remember your surname with honor. I wash the house sign over you with the blood of my Son. The lintel and the doorposts are marked. The destroyer has no right of entry. Exodus 12:23. Watch what happens when a lock breaks. Movement. The sound you could not hear, a low hum of delay, goes silent, and instead there is a click, a wind shift, a rearranged earth. What looked like a closed heaven becomes a coordinated ground. Phone calls returned, invoices paid, approvals that once took months issued in days, mentors appearing with keys, reconciliation offered where estrangement ruled, a peace in your nervous system that lets you say yes without the tremor of dread. Do not mistake this quickening for coincidence. It is governance. I am bending time around your obedience. No divination against Jacob, no enchantment against Israel. Numbers 23:23. No incantation of history can bind what I have freed. Walk in this without panic. You do not have to pry open every door or hunt every demon. You will prepare with peace. You will keep your accounts truthful. You will bless your enemies. You will decline alliances that smell like yesterday's chains, and you will keep declaring what I have decided. If an old pattern flares up to test your resolve, do not crumble. Answer it. I see you. You are residue, not destiny. I stand in a better covenant. Then go on with your assignment. The wall you kept meeting is becoming a gate, and the gate is swinging on new hinges. My beloved child, this is the deep breakthrough. You are not trapped in a family loop. You are the loop's finale. Now is the time. No more delay. I have set my hand upon your name. I am cleansing your house sign, and I am launching you as a living contradiction to every statistic that said, not you, not here, not now. Peace to your heart, steadiness to your step. Go forward as the first of many. What breaks with you will not rebuild on your children. My beloved child, now that the locks are breaking and your name is being restored, listen for the stirring I have placed back within you. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. The pulse you feel is not nostalgia, not the ache of what once was. It is the appointed time approaching the surface. When a seed awakens under the soil, the ground shifts before the sprout is seen. There is a quiet push, a hairline fracture in the surface, a temperature change in the earth, movement underground long before the field looks different. So it is with you. Do not dismiss the subtle changes as torment. They are signals. Here are the internal signs of awakening I am sending as gentle bells in your spirit. Desire returns, but without desperation. You find yourself drawn to the blueprint again, not grasping this time, not bargaining, simply ready to hold what I give with open hands. Holy restlessness rises, not anxiety, but a clean unwillingness to keep sleeping beside a closed chapter. Clarity begins to return like a sunrise, not all at once, but enough to take one faithful step at a time. Courage breathes on your decisions. You notice you are not rehearsing failure as loudly as before. Forgiveness begins to soften places that felt calcified. Names you could not say without flinching pass through your mouth with mercy, and as you release them, the air around your promise becomes lighter. The cynic in your chest grows quiet. The child in you, the builder in you, the faithful one in you, opens their eyes again. You will also notice external signs, and I am coordinating them so that you will marvel at the sequence. Unexpected reconnections, people you thought were gone for good, appear with humility and keys. Opportunities you once chased now arrive unchased, or reappear in purer form without the hooks that once ensnared you. Scriptures glow as if highlighted by my own hand. Sermons, songs, and even dreams confirm words you wrote years ago and set aside. Doors begin to open not in random bursts, but in order. First foundation, then framing, then finishing. Resources align where there was only resistance. A mentor's email lands the same day you discover a forgotten skill set. The invoice is paid the same week your schedule clears. A space becomes available precisely when your heart says, I am ready. Do not call this coincidence. It is me. At the right time, I, the Lord, will make it happen. Isaiah 60:22. Understand the nature of this awakening. The wind returns first. The sail lifts before the boat moves. You may feel your appetite for excellence increase. Organizing files, revisiting notes, sharpening tools, tending to your health, and wonder, is this just me trying to control? No, beloved, this is dignity rising. This is the vessel enlarging to meet the promise. What you called delay, I called alignment, and now you and time are meeting again, like long-separated friends who recognize each other instantly. The vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it tarry, wait for it. It will surely come, it will not delay. Habakkuk 2:3. Can you hear it? The vision is speaking again. But learn discernment. For not every open door is the appointed door. Some doors open as tests, some as distractions, some as counterfeits that arrive early with flattery and shortcuts. The appointed door will not require you to violate the integrity I have restored in you. It will not demand you betray your new boundaries, abandon your Sabbath, bend truth, or sell your name for speed. The appointed door carries peace in its frame, alignment in its hinges, and integrity in its handle. When you touch it, your spirit will say, this fits, not I must fracture to fit it. Watch for these distinctions. A counterfeit door is loud, urgent, and manipulative, pressing you to move before you have prayed, to sign before you have read, to say yes to what belittles your identity. The appointed door can be bold and swift, but it will be clean. It may stretch you, but it will not stain you. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. Colossians 3:15. Let peace be your umpire in this, calling fair and foul. Another mark of my door is sequence. It honors the order I have been restoring, character, capacity, then opportunity. When a door leaps over formation, it is often a snare. When it honors formation, it is often me. Ask yourself, does this door dignify what God just healed in me? Does it welcome my true name or require my old labels to function? If it calls the steward in you forth, if it asks the wise builder to build, if it respects the covenant you stand in, then step. If it requires you to become again the frantic survivor I rescued you from, then no, you do not owe yesterday the sacrifice of your new peace. Now, hear the pivot from sign to stewardship. Awakening is not entertainment, it is recruitment. I am not merely reviving your dream, I am recalling you to your assignment. The stirring is an invitation to prepare your life again, not with panic, but with precision. Begin to make room. Clear space in your calendar where constant clutter lived. Put your accounts in order. Clean hands are an open runway. Refresh your study. Return to the notes you abandoned. Update proposals. Rehearse the presentation, not because you must strive, but because excellence is your worship. Reach out where I nudge. Send the email. Make the call. Research the license. Gather the documents. Small acts of obedience function like stakes that mark the new territory. Let your mouth align with what your spirit senses. Say it quietly if you must, then louder as faith grows. I feel the stirring and I agree. Let your fingers write down the signs you are seeing, the internal, the external, as a testimony you can review when old fear tries to narrate falsehood. Go ahead and comment your declaration to mark this moment. The appointed time is approaching the surface. I will walk through the right door with clean hands. This is not performance. This is placement. The righteous shall live by faith. Habakkuk 2:4. When you declare, you are not decorating your life with pretty words. You are aligning the atmosphere around your name with my verdict. Do not be surprised if minor irritations try to return. as the seed breaks ground. Unexpected criticism, a small delay, a resurfacing temptation to quit. Answer them calmly. You are residue, not destiny. The root is alive. The sprout is near. Then keep preparing. I am nearer than the next sunrise. I am the warmth under the soil. I am the voice behind you saying, "This is the way, walk in it." Isaiah 30:21. And I say, beloved child, if the stirring is back, it is not to torment you. It is the signal. The time you buried is breathing again, not as a ghost to haunt you, but as a living promise to be fulfilled. Now is the time. No more delay. Prepare with peace. The next door you take will not just be an entrance. It will be a landing place for glory. My beloved child, now that the soil is warm and the vision is speaking again, do not run in circles. Build an altar. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you to the wisdom of order. When Abraham received a word, he did not sprint aimlessly. He marked the ground with an altar to hold the weight of the promise, Genesis 12:7. So will you. Preparation without panic is your altar. Order in your life becomes an invitation, a runway, a place for my promise to land safely. Let all things be done decently and in order. 1 Corinthians 14:40. Hear me. Frantic striving is not faith. Aligned preparation is. Begin with rhythm. Set a daily time to meet me without negotiation. 15 minutes, then 30, then a steady hour as capacity grows. Quiet, scripture, prayer, a simple journal of what I am saying. This is how you anchor wind to sail. Do not overload, be consistent. The righteous do not live by spasms of zeal. The righteous shall live by faith. Habakkuk 2:4. And faith loves rhythm. Add a weekly check-in, a Sabbath that heals your nervous system, a review of tasks and budgets, a moment to ask, what is God breathing on this week? Routine is not prison. It is scaffolding for the house I am raising. Next, remove what drains focus. You already sense the small foxes. Now, name them. Endless scrolling that numbs your courage. Conversations that always turn cynical. Subscriptions that siphon your budget while giving nothing to your mission. Food and sleep patterns that sabotage clarity. Late nights that steal holy mornings. I am not condemning you. I am shepherding you. I do not call you lazy or weak. I call you mine. Let me lead you beside still waters and away from stagnant ones. Psalm 23:2. Delete what dulls. Unfollow what poisons. Set an alarm and a boundary. Small fences protect large gardens. Now we address leak points. Hear me gently and firmly. Some of your strain was not from lack of blessing, but from leaks that could not hold it. Impulsive spending, those quick purchases, baptizing stress as treats that rob tomorrow's peace. Toxic ties, relationships that applaud your dysfunction and get angry at your growth. Inconsistent habits, bursts of excellence followed by long neglect. Hidden bitterness, resentments that corrode joy and turn favor into suspicion. Unhealed insecurity, the inner narrative that makes you shrink in rooms I sent you to fill. I do not bring these to shame you. I uncover them to heal you. Confess them to me, then to a trusted voice. Confess your faults one to another and pray for one another, that you may be healed. James 5:16. Healing closes leaks. Stewardship is the language of this hour. The promise is not only for receiving, it is for maintaining. I am making you able to keep what you prayed for. You asked for more income. I am teaching you how to budget, how to set percentages, how to build margin, how to say no. You asked for a platform. I am forming your calendar so your private world will not collapse beneath public opportunity. You asked for love. I am strengthening your boundaries so intimacy does not become idolatry. You asked for influence. I am purifying motives so favor will not twist your name. Through wisdom, a house is built, and by understanding it is established. and by knowledge the rooms are filled with all precious and pleasant riches. Proverbs 24, 3-4. Consider these three. Wisdom chooses values. Understanding builds systems. Knowledge tracks results. Practical steps are holy. Do not romanticize spiritual victory while neglecting simple obedience. Clean up your finances, make a list of debts, set a payment order, call your creditors, negotiate interest, cancel unnecessary drains. Open a separate account for savings and generosity, and name it Promise Stewardship. Update your resume and portfolio. Proofread, quantify achievements, gather testimonials, curate samples. If it is a business, renew the license, review your pricing, clarify your offer, open a clean book for invoices, mend relationships where possible, send the text, own your part, forgive theirs, bless even if reconciliation is not wise. Get counsel, financial, legal, pastoral, therapeutic. Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed. Proverbs 15:22. Create a plan you can see, quarterly goals, weekly steps, a daily 3. This is not striving, this is faith wearing work boots. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance. Proverbs 21:5. Who among you, intending to build a tower, does not first sit down and count the cost? Luke 14:28. Do not despise small beginnings. Do not wait for perfect conditions to take faithful steps. Start the draft. Schedule the test. Set the meeting. Practice the pitch aloud. Polish the song. Inventory your tools. Place your instruments where you will use them. Put your running shoes by the door. Pack your lunch the night before. These are not trivial. They are altar stones. Excellence is worship. You are not performing to be loved. You are preparing because you are loved. I am not measuring you by velocity. I am attuning you to my cadence. When you align, time bends to favor you. About accountability, choose two kinds: a peer who runs with you and a mentor who sees beyond you. Share your goals with them. Invite honest feedback. Ask them to ask you the questions you avoid. This humility will protect you from both pride and despair. In an abundance of counselors there is safety. Proverbs 11:14. If shame whispers that seeking help proves you are behind, answer it. I am wise enough to be guided. Your name is being restored. Let community be part of the polish. I also direct you to repair altars of forgiveness and gratitude. Bless those who wronged you genuinely, not as a performance, but as a release. Bitterness is a leak. Gratitude is a seal. Begin and end your day by naming 3 things I have done, even small ones. This practice will rewire your attention from scarcity to sufficiency. Give thanks in all circumstances. 1 Thessalonians 5:18. Gratitude keeps the oil fresh in the machinery of stewardship. As you prepare, speak life. Your voice is not decoration, it is alignment. Over your calendar, say peace and order. Over your finances, say honesty and overflow. Over your study, say clarity and retention. Over your relationships, say honor and truth. Go ahead and let your fingers write one concrete action you will take today as a sign before me. Schedule the budget meeting, send the resume, book the counsel, clear the desk. If this word bears witness, like it as a faith mark and write your declaration. I build an altar of order. My promise has a place to land. When you prepare, you prophesy that you believe it is real. Faith without expression is a seed never sown. Preparation is your planted field. James 2:17. Now hear my authoritative kindness. I am not in a hurry with you, but I am moving you. Now is the time. No more delay. Replace panic with precision, frenzy with formation, excuse with execution. I breathe peace over your systems, joy over your routines, courage over your conversations. I bless your budget, your keyboard, your calendar, your tools. I steady your hands, quiet your chest, and lengthen your stride. Build the altar and watch the fire fall, not as a flare of hype, but as a steady flame that warms a whole house. Go, beloved child, prepare with peace. In order, you will find wings. In stewardship, you will find strength. And when the door opens, you will not scramble. You will step through with clean hands and a steady heart. My beloved child, you have prepared a place for the promise to land. Now open your mouth and call it in. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. Silence, when saturated with fear, becomes agreement with accusation, but declaration, when aligned with my word, becomes a key that turns the lock at the appointed hour. I formed the world with words. I train you to govern your world with words. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs 18:21. Your voice is not decoration, it is alignment. It is a legal testimony in the courts of heaven where accusations have tried to stain your name. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so. Psalm 107:2. When you speak what I have said, you interrupt the narrative of delay and you escort the appointed time to your door. Understand the battlefield beneath your breath. The adversary thrives on unspoken resignation, on weariness that collapses into mute agreement with old labels, untrustworthy, too late, always behind. But I have called you by another name, and your confession wraps that name in light. When you declare my word, you are not pretending, you are presenting evidence. You are standing as witness to what I decreed long ago. You are saying to every power you cannot see, ownership is settled. The record is corrected. The timing is set. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood. Ephesians 6:12. Therefore our weapons cannot be fleshly indifference. Your weapon now is a heart believed and a mouth released. So hear the cadence of victory and step into it. When you speak, you cut a new groove in your mind where hope can run. When you thank, you drain the swamp of complaint and irrigate the field where the promise is sprouting. When you obey, even in the small step, you hammer a stake that says, this ground belongs to the appointed time. When you forgive, you close the legal loopholes that accusation has used to argue against your future. When you bless, you turn off the siren of envy and turn on the song of sufficiency. When you sow, whether resource or kindness or time, you declare, there is more coming, I am not ruled by fear of lack. With every when you are not performing, you are partnering. Now say this with me. Slow down and let your own ears hear your own mouth agree with heaven. Repeat after me. The vision is yet for an appointed time. It speaks and it will not lie. Though it tarry, I will wait without quitting. It will surely come. It will not delay. Habakkuk 2:3. Again, my times are in God's hand. The time for this promise is preserved. I align. Again, my name is not failure. My name is faithful one. My hands are clean. My heart is steady. My boundaries are blessed. Say, I reject every accusation. I cancel the agreement with shame. I forgive those who wounded me, and I bless them. I bless my future. I bless my household. I bless my work. Say, I prepare without fear. I act without panic. I choose excellence as worship. Say, what God preserved will not ruin me. I am enlarged to carry it. The appointed time is colliding with my life. Let your fingers prophesy too, as a sign that you agree, like this message right now. Mark this moment. Go ahead and write one line in the comments as a seal over your own soul. The vision will speak and not lie. I will wait without quitting. I will prepare without fear. Do not treat this as trivial or merely digital etiquette. I am teaching you to turn agreement into action. When you type a declaration, you can read again. You build a memorial stone you will stumble on tomorrow when discouragement tries to disguise itself as wisdom. Share this word with one person you know is standing at a similar door. Become a channel, and I will widen the flow through you. Subscribe and mark the bell so you do not drift from the cadence I am setting. Rhythm is your ally now. Now listen to me shift from comfort to command. I speak as the one who scheduled your promise and guarded it when you buried it. I issue a decree over your timeline and your tongue. No more mute acquiescence to delay. No more borrowing the labels of yesterday to describe a tomorrow I have already written. I overrule every false verdict that has been whispered over your name. I strike from the file every accusation purchased by the blood of my Son. I summon angelic messengers to retrieve what is yours from cabinets where dust testified against you. I order systems to remember you rightly. I command that proposals be found, that emails be answered, that phones ring with favor, that signed contracts, approvals, and timely transfers locate the one I have named. I command anxiety to bow and clarity to rise. I command your mouth to prophesy, your hands to build, your feet to walk in the ordered steps I light before you. And I charge you, beloved child, keep these words on your lips morning and night. When fear presses, say, peace rules in my heart. I move with the umpire of Christ. Colossians 3:15. When delay taunts, say, I refuse the taunt. I choose the truth. Though it tarry, it will surely come. When accusation mumbles, say, the Lord rebuke you. I stand under a better word. Hebrews 12:24. When discouragement whispers, answer, I am not the one who quits. I am the one who waits wisely and prepares with joy. Keep your declaration simple, scriptural, steady. This is not hype. This is headship. You are not shouting at the wind. You are aligning your sail to catch it. Now is the time. No more delay. Speak to the vision and watch the vision speak back. As you do, I will make you marvel at how quickly courage returns, how calmly you make decisions you once avoided, how doors open in the order I promised. Your mouth is a key. Turn it and walk. My beloved child, draw near and do not flinch, for I am speaking a decree over your life that I scheduled long before you counted your first delay. Hear me. Now is the time. No more delay. This is not hype, not empty noise meant to stir your feelings and then leave you with nothing in your hands. This is convergence. This is the collision of the appointed time with your prepared heart, your aligned name, your ordered steps. I have measured this hour against your capacity. I have weighed it against your formation. I have matched it to the upgrades in your identity, and I say, the clock of heaven is ringing over your calendar, and the sound cannot be silenced. What you buried did not die. I preserved it in the vault of my timing, and I now authorize its release. I issue a holy order. That which has hung suspended, visible yet out of reach, shall be lowered into your hands. I have stamped the record with my seal. I have signed the order with my name. I have dispatched messengers to carry this decree across systems and seasons. No power, no principality, no policy, no past failure, no memory of shame, and no whisper of accusation can hold back what I have authorized. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you to inevitability. When I open a door, no one can shut it. When I speak a thing, it does not return to me empty. Revelation 3:7, Isaiah 55:11. The hour has come for fulfillment, not for teasing, for landing, not for circling, for possession, not for peering through glass. Therefore, I command alignments in tangible realms. Let decision-makers remember you rightly. I will bring your name up in rooms where you have never stood. Let contracts be located, reviewed, and signed in proper order. Let funding be released from places that said later and now must say approved. Let proposals be retrieved from forgotten folders. Let emails be answered with favor. Let schedules open with uncanny precision. Let policy exceptions be made for righteousness' sake. Let creative doors swing wide, commissions, invitations, platforms that fit your integrity, rooms designed for your voice. Let reconciliations begin where pride once stalled them. Phone calls with softened tones, apologies that carry grace, bridges rebuilt without the bait of manipulation. I order systems to be rearranged to honor the timing I have set. I command the backlog to clear. I require records to be corrected. I speak to the wind that has pushed against you and say, reverse and assist. I will go before you and level the mountains. I will break down gates of bronze and cut through bars of iron. Isaiah 45:2. Now I address your name, the battlefield and the banner. I decree, your name will be cleared. I revoke the labels that were attached to your identity: unreliable, too late, unstable, always behind. These marks did not come from me. They are no longer admissible evidence in any court that would argue against your future. I polish your family name by redemption. I wash the residue of generational accusation. I break invisible locks attached to your bloodline through covenants you did not make. Christ has redeemed you from every curse. Therefore, the records must reflect the purchase. What once shamed you will become testimony. The area of your greatest embarrassment will become the stage of my great faithfulness. I rename the season restoration, stewardship, fulfillment. You will not live buried while still breathing. No more graveyard of living promises. I command the grave clothes to loose you. Fear, procrastination, self-sabotage, secret agreements with worthlessness. Come off now. Stand, beloved child. Walk out of the tomb you learned to decorate. Hear the rhythm of my decree and mark it in your bones. No more buried living, no more false pauses, no more calling protection, giving up. No more agreements with shame, no more cycles that repeat like old songs. I place a new cadence in your steps, measured, joyful, precise. I crown your head with clarity. I steady your hands so they do not shake when you sign what I lay before you. I settle your heart so you are not startled by favor when it knocks in the very order I taught you to prepare. I declare that opportunity will not arrive as a flood, meant to drown you, but as a river with banks. Boundaries you can keep, capacity you can steward, peace you will not trade for applause. And I speak to the areas you can touch. Today, over your work, I say fruition. Over your inbox, I say answers. Over your projects, I say completion with excellence. Over your bank accounts, I say honesty, margin, and flow. Over your household, I say honor and gentleness. Over your collaborations, I say mutuality and truth. Over your body, I say strength to carry blessing. Over your mind, I say recall, insight, and creative strategy. Over your calendar, I say divine appointments that waste no time and extract no dignity. Over your reputation, I say vindication without vengeance. Let the peace of Christ be the umpire that rules these movements fair and clean. Colossians 3:15. Understand this too. I am not releasing the promise to expose your lack. I am releasing it because you are now aligned to keep it. What would have cracked you open in an earlier hour will now enlarge you without breaking you. I have laid foundation under your feet, character, capacity, clean hands, so that when the weight arrives, you will not tremble beneath it. The vision is speaking and you will answer with action. The door is opening and you will step through with order. This is how mercy and truth meet. This is how righteousness and peace kiss. Psalm 85:10. The convergence is holy. Now breathe. Open your hands where you are. Uncurl your fingers from the habits that tried to manage me. Inhale my peace. Exhale your striving. Inhale alignment. Exhale anxiety. Inhale sonship and daughterhood. Exhale orphan fear. Place your shoulders back, not in arrogance but in assurance. Quiet your jaw, lift your chin, and let your own ears hear your own voice. Agree with me. Say, I receive the decree. I come out of buried living. I step into the appointed time with clean hands and a steady heart. Again, slower. I receive what God preserved. I will not sabotage what I prayed for. I am aligned. I am ready. I am kept. Let the weight of glory rest lightly upon you, heavy enough to anchor, light enough to move. Do not grasp. Receive. Do not rush. Respond. I am here, closer than breath, stronger than the wind that fills your sail. The promise is not returning to tease you. It is returning to be fulfilled. The appointed time is colliding with your life, not as a violent crash, but as the precise joining of pieces that were crafted for each other from the beginning. Now is the time. No more delay. Walk in the decree and watch me confirm it in sequence, in peace, in power. And as you stand in this moment, hold your hands open, your heart open, your breath steady. This is how you carry what I am releasing now. My beloved child, be still before me now, for this is the moment where feeling becomes formation, where hope becomes harnessed, where the decree settles like dew upon your fields. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. Prayer seals what revelation opens. Open your hands again. Breathe slowly. Whisper my name. Let the peace of Christ rule in your heart as the umpire of this hour. Colossians 3:15. We will pray, and as we pray, I will place a seal upon your name, upon your house, upon the path you now walk. Pray with me, phrase by phrase. Let your own ears hear your own voice agreeing with heaven. Say, Father, I thank you for preserving the promise when I could not see it. Thank you for guarding what I buried, for hiding it until I had the strength to hold it. I bless you for mercy that felt like delay, but was actually protection. I thank you that the vision speaks again, and that you have set an appointed time that will not lie. Habakkuk 2:3. Now say, I repent for calling your protection giving up. I repent for partnering with self-disqualification, for wearing labels you did not give me, for treating shame as a name tag. Wash me, and I shall be clean. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Psalm 51:7-10. I renounce every false label, unreliable, too late, always behind, not enough. Those marks do not come from you. I reject them, and I receive the name you call me, faithful one, steward, son, daughter, beloved. Continue. By the blood of Jesus, I break the residue of generational accusation. Christ has redeemed me from the curse of the law. Galatians 3:13. Every invisible lock attached to my bloodline, every word, vow, or agreement that does not align with your covenant, be annulled now by the better word that speaks over me. Hebrews 12:24. I forgive my ancestors where they opened doors they did not understand. I bless my family line with the mercy I have received. I declare that in me the cycle ends and a new story begins. Now ask with humility and boldness. Father, grant me wisdom and timing. Give me a hearing heart to discern the appointed moment, when to speak, when to be silent, when to step, and when to stand still. 1 Kings 3:9, Exodus 14:14. Teach me to move at your pace, not at panic's push. Order my steps in your word. Psalm 119:133. Crown me with sound judgment. Let knowledge, understanding, and counsel stand like sentries at my gates. Proverbs 2:6, Isaiah 11:2. I lay my hand, even now, upon your mind. I speak peace over racing thoughts, rest over the nights, clarity over the fog. Let anxious loops unwind. Let intrusive accusations be silenced. Let your inner conversation be governed by truth and tenderness. I assign discernment against counterfeit doors, opportunities that glitter but do not carry my breath, invitations that require you to betray your integrity, offers that press you to hurry without holy reason. My sheep hear my voice. John 10:27. You will not miss me. I will not whisper while deception shouts. I will make wisdom plain upon the path. I strengthen your patience so that waiting is no longer heavy, but holy. You will wait without wavering, not as one resigned, but as one reserved for the precise moment. Wait for the Lord, be strong, and let your heart take courage. Wait for the Lord. Psalm 27:14. And when I say move, you will not hesitate. I breathe courage into your chest. I steady your knees. I set fire in your decision-making without frenzy. You will act with clean hands and a steady heart, swift without scrambling, thorough without toil, humble without shrinking. Now pray this protection over your borders. Say, place a hedge around my mind, my motives, my calendar, and my conversations. Keep me from distraction and deception. Guard the entrances to my life, my eyes, my ears, my tongue. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight. Psalm 19:14. Station angels on assignment at the corridors of favor. Retrieve what bears my name. Return to me what was delayed without cause. Align systems to the decree you have spoken. Psalm 103:20. Pray over those you love. Bless my household with gentleness and truth. Heal what was fractured. Where reconciliation is wise, open the path. Where distance is needed, give peace and healthy boundaries. Make my home a landing place for the promise, a sanctuary where righteousness and peace kiss. Psalm 85:10. Pray over your labor. Prosper the work of my hands. Teach me to build what lasts. Let excellence be my worship and stewardship my language. Proverbs 24:3-4. Now lift your voice and seal it with confession of faith. Say, the vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it tarry, it will surely come. Habakkuk 2:3. I align with heaven's schedule. I receive the promise with clean hands and a steady heart. I will not sabotage what I prayed for. I am kept by peace, guided by wisdom, strengthened by joy. My name is restored, my steps are ordered, my future is opened by decree. As a sign before me, let your fingers testify. Right now, write these 4 words as a banner over your own soul. It will surely come. Habakkuk 2:3. Do not postpone it. Mark this moment. Like this message as a faith mark and share it with one person you know needs the sound of appointed time. When you become a channel, I widen the flow through you. And to stay under the cadence I am setting in you, subscribe and turn on notifications. Not as a habit of hype, but as a rhythm of guidance while the promise unfolds in stages. I am shepherding you through sequence, and consistent teaching will steady your steps. Now receive my commissioning. You are not behind, you are aligned. You are not forgotten, you are appointed. You are not disqualified, you are sanctified for the very thing I preserved. Walk back into your daily places, your desk, your workshop, your classroom, your kitchen, your neighborhood, with quiet authority. Let mercy temper your tone, let order shape your calendar, let gratitude oil your gears. Speak to the vision each morning, prepare a small thing each day, forgive quickly, choose excellence without panic, expect the right knocks at the right times, and when they come, answer without self-sabotage. I send you now in peace. Let the blessing of the Lord rest upon you, upon your mind with clarity, upon your hands with skill, upon your feet with steadiness, upon your name with honor. May goodness and mercy follow you. May favor surround you like a shield. May courage rise in crisis and patience hold you in pause. Psalm 23:6, Psalm 5:12. Now is the time, no more delay. Carry what I have placed in you with clean hands and a steady heart, and watch me confirm it in sequence, in peace, in power. Amen.